And we just give participants.
And these.
There he is. Yep.
The three dots. No, two.
Oh, yes. All right, Joe, could you give us a signal if you can hear us?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Amazing. Let's get
There
started.
we go.
Good evening and welcome to the, oh gosh, I forgot to this date, July 8th Zoning Board of Appeals regular monthly meeting in the Village of Boston. This is a public hearing that is quasi judicial. We're using a hybrid format for today's meeting like normal, with the public invited to attend either in person or online via Zoom. Members of the public attending online may use the raised hand feature at the appropriate time if you'd like to make a comment. If you're attending by phone, you can press *9 and we'll see your hands raised. Comments may be emailed anytime during the meeting via plan@villageofaustining.org. This meeting will be recorded and a transcript of the meeting will be available at a later date. Notes provided by our wonderful board secretary, Jamie. Ground rules, when you come up to speak, please state your name and address or your role. You must be signed in. Did we have you sign in, JB? Okay, that's great. Please limit your comments to the matter which is the subject of the hearing, and I'd like to start with a roll call of the board.
Crescencio. It's Paul. Everybody is here. Corey Block. Here. Commissioner Isaac.
Here. All right, so we have one item on the agenda tonight. This is continuing business. Oh, wait, sorry. We had everybody except for the license meeting and you. So we have enough to vote on the minutes. Okay, thanks. So could I get a motion to approve the minutes from last month's meeting?
Motion second, first.
Amazing. Corey and then Chris. If there are no objections to approving the minutes. That the minutes are now approved, and now we're going to continuing business. This is going to be ZBA 07-2025 for 229 Spring Street. Applicant has been here previously, but they are seeking the following variances as part of a proposed subdivision and construction of new single-family residence. Minimum lot area for lots 1 and 2. Minimum lot widths for lots 1 and 2. Minimum front yard setback, lot 1. Minimum side yard setback, lot 1. Parking in the front yard, lot 1. Maximum impervious surface coverage for lot 1 only, and tandem parking for lot 1. And since the last meeting, it's my understanding that I saw you submitted a new zoning worksheet. There was a new letter that was submitted. So there's been no change to the plans other than some formalities. Okay.
Just for the benefit of the board, after this matter last year before you, they went back to the planning board. The planning board as an agency did adopt the neg deck under secret, so the board is empowered to vote changes if they so choose.
So for Chris and Erica, if you didn't know, SECRA is the kind of the environmental review process. The planning board, by giving a negative declaration, stated there was going to be no negative requirement.
No significant adverse market.
Exactly.
Negative is good, positive.
So anything you want to?
Look, I think if you go to the next page, it's one, which is the last table that shows that will show the bells. The
Here?
last few times, yep, another one. A few times we discussed this and we modified this according to what it seemed to be the coach preference. We made the 2 lots non-compliant, but that is more of the average lot size in the neighborhood. We show the tandem parking to be good in the purpose area. And we eliminated the 1 yard parking of the normal. The new proposed about it.
So even though the address is on Spring Street, JD, it's the Madison Avenue where apartment. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, and the address is there, but I believe the new lot is going to have a Madison Avenue address.
Yes.
Once it's split. I have no questions. There have been no changes.
No, I was here the first time. I was here the first time did this, I was kidding.
Yeah, this is, I think, third, fourth meeting.
This is the third time you've seen some variety of.
Sure. Okay. If there are no other questions from the board, can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
Motion's open, Chris.
Seconded for
Chris and Olga, If there are no objections to opening the public hearing is now open. Is there anybody down the hall, or online to speak about 229 Spring Street? All right, hearing none, seeing none, can I get a motion to, I'm gonna say close the public hearing, because I think we were ready to almost vote last time, except for the planning board needed to complete seat, so. Can I get a motion to close the public.
Motion to close.
Second hour.
Chris and Erica. Jamie, does that help when I do that? Okay, great. When you're not here. If there are no objections to closing the public hearing, the hearing is closed. If we run through the 5 factors.
And just for Chris and Erica, since we do have a board here, only one of you will be voting, so you guys can choose amongst yourself. Once you get to that point, just so you know. But, so as the board knows, in determining whether to grant the applicant's request for an area variance, the board must balance the benefit to the applicant against any detriments to the health, safety, and welfare of the community. In doing so, you're required to consider 5 factors. The first factor the board must consider is whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by granting the area variances. These you kind of discuss together because it all pertains to one project.
It does, yeah. I think we've talked about this on the record a few times, but I don't think there's gonna be a detriment to the community. Based on the split, it was a large unused backyard for that area. There's a high need for housing. They've worked with the planning board and the zoning board to restrict impervious surface coverage and
Helped a lot, the side yards.
In that both lots, you closer to one, so then yes, one isn't completely out of whack with what's in the other. It seemed like.
I think it's important to note that it wasn't possible about one because of corner lot. So the front yard setback variance in the lot with, the lot with variances are driven by the fact this is a lot. Okay. The next factor for the board to consider is whether the benefit sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance. And the benefit here being the proposed subdivision.
I don't believe so. I think we've done the best that we could. This way to go.
Don't you agree? No matter what you do, creating that second lot creates by code 2 substandard lots, but they still have more space than some of the other ones in the neighborhood. And they made changes that got it more in line with what our code was saying, specifically with certain set.
Without adding to street parking or the.
The next factor is whether the variances are substantial.
That is a great question.
I mean, there are several, so this is not regard to kind of substantial range, but at the same time, they're in line with the character.
Say, I think not speaking in numbers, it might be. But again, doing the best that they can with the situation.
So,
There they are on the sheet.
so interestingly, would you be able to zoom in a little bit so you can look at that top 2? Thank you. For lot with feet, you'll notice that lot 1, which is the current lot, is actually not changing in width. And the second lot is actually gonna be a little bit bigger, so even though we're making a second substandard lot, it is closer to the lot width that is required, which is, again, all of these homes in this district have this issue because they're skinny lots.
And also important to note that lot 1 has 2 lot width requirements because it is a corner lot.
Yeah.
So the width is compliant in one respect, but then not in another.
So front yard in feet, required by code is 30, which it didn't meet previously because of complications in the zone. And that's staying the same. The second one will be compliant, so that's actually a good thing. There's no change to the existing conditions for lot 1. Lot 2 will be compliant. 1 side yard in feet. Fine side yards, this is the corner lot issue. Not applicable on the first one, which is what it is right now, and no for the second one. No, could you go down to the next, yes? Amazing, impervious coverage, which is something we talked about, 10% based on the history of the board is within something that we've done more than 10%, so I think 10% is reasonable based on.
One thing to also point out is, while the impervious coverage on the site did shrink by the board's request, since the lot area also shrunk, that actually causes the number to go up because the lot is smaller, even though the impervious coverage hasn't changed.
The consideration being in the future, any future board might not know this was previously subdivided, so they'll just see these properties. Right, so the 10% still is within something we've normally done for some. We'll cover now, and I think we're on the next page, right? Yes. And this is again, something we discussed, and they actually made a change based on our feedback, which was the parking area. We had to shrink one, which took it from parking spots to tandem parking. So we kind of created the need for tandem parking, but the tandem parking need that we created decreased impervious surface coverage and took that driveway away from the property line, gave the property to be good line. So. Great, over explanation,
Yeah, that was good, that was good.
but we addressed every single thing on that sheet. So.
Whether the proposed variances will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood district.
We're not adding additional parking to the street, so I'd say that in the secret is a negative declaration by the planning board, so I'm gonna lean on their review for the environment.
And finally, whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, which consideration is relevant to the board's decision, but not necessarily expensive.
Say no to the first lot and yes to the second lot, but it's not different.
No. So, like, should be
Also,
not versus.
I think it's self-created, yes, but with a positive result in mind, it's for the good of the neighborhood.
hearing the 5 factors, to me, it seems like we're looking to get a motion for a get a motion to approve ZBA 7/2025.
Motion to approve Olga.
Second, Chris.
All right, you don't vote, please. Hold on. I know you,
Motion, so. Chris.
yeah, we'll stick with Chris, but
Sorry.
also, the number of off-street parking. Your term ends before hers, so you're in a slot that was like, slots, so I'll just make it easy.
So Chris Asensio,
Chris, so,
Iron,
I.
Michael Small,
Aye.
Ola Montes.
Aye.
Lord Block, Chair Robertson.
Aye. All right. 5-0.
Thank
Good to go. You know the drill. You will get the resolutions.
you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So we don't have anything next. The applicant has submitted no new information for settlement place, and that is adjourned. So if I get a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
Motion to adjourn, Cory?
Motion second, Chris.
Cory, Chris, if there are no objections to adjourning the public hearing or meeting, we are adjourned. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Good work,
Until
Joe.
August. So in the past, we've done without